and welcome to another coaching video, and in this one we have a Platinum MORDEKAISER versus a Platinum KHA'ZIX. Now the KHA'ZIX has Conqueror, which means he's most likely going more of a bruiser itemization, and remember he is being buffed even more next patch. I don't know. Mundo and Volibear can't get the light of day, but KHA'ZIX 2 buffs in a row. It is what it is. MORDEKAISER on the other hand is still a classically good hidden OP jungler to climb. Most people don't use it, but they should and could. Now, in Platinum here we have a very interesting composition. You will notice Blitzcrank, Caitlyn, versus Samira Fiddlesticks. So if you're a Fiddlesticks main and you're playing support Fiddlesticks, you know why. And if you're a Samira player and you're seeing that you have a Fiddlesticks support, I'm very truly sorry for your laning phase. Now, we do have a Yorick versus Sion, which means this lane, if we can snowball it and let him go to work and cook, we can actually play around the mid and bot lane quite heavily. It will just be about how we go about those things. Now, we talk about all sorts of matchups and ways to play in the jungle, and ganking versus farming, farming versus ganking versus ganking. It is really not as simple as that, but it's good to have frameworks in terms of how we play. KHA'ZIX, on the other hand, is very unique because he can gank, like the Tanu from E West. He can do the Red Raptors Grump kind of level 3 stuff, reverse clear down. But MORDEKAISER isn't really that diverse. Basically you're looking at a full clear, sequencing, scaling kind of stuff. Obviously the Rylai's is nice for the kiting. Look at this though. This is the kind of stuff I talk about all the time in the Platinum course. The Platinum course is by far the most, because obviously you're getting to the Diamond level and so on. We talk about all the different varieties of jungling strategies you can have, but one of the biggest things, it doesn't really matter about your game plan. Your game plan matters, it also doesn't matter, because the game plan is your intent, and then the fact that things happen that compromise that, how do you adapt to it, is the most crucial aspect. Now we see here the Yorick going in on the Sion. Should he have this kill? He should. There we go. But the point more so is there's never really a, hey, you're trading, can I help you? Can I go up here and actually give you some sort of good juice and help? Now, in this particular case, obviously it's a Yorick versus Sion. You look at this, you see, okay, look, he has this. The Sion passive is just going to push this wave. The Yorick is absolutely okay with that. That's fine and good. But I just want you to understand that if your mid lane or top lane are trading, and it's close, and you are able to cut your full clear short to actually impact this and get the kill and shove, especially for deny, burning TPs and so on, do it, right? Don't be too afraid to cut your clear short and look for this kind of support. Now, just to go back, the KHA'ZIX does just full clear, finishes quite late. The Sion is TP'd up now, goes down to ward, but the MORDEKAISER is just chilling in the bush. And you see the KHA'ZIX going to the other side here. The flash is not burned. That's absolutely great. This is really good. Because from MORDEKAISER's perspective, what can we do? We can take this, go back to base, try and handle bottom lane and maybe this scuttle crab. We can go back top lane knowing the Sion has no TP, burn his flash. Cool. We can also drive by mid lane and go and contest this. But do we have bot prior for it? That's the question. Now, at this particular stage, it seems like the MORDEKAISER does a full clear, does a nice gank on the Sion as he wards, trapping him in the bush, and then wastes his time doing the most stupid thing I've ever seen, which is sit in the bush that is warded and compromise yourself all sorts of tempo and goal control. The KHA'ZIX, in the meantime, while it's not terrible, hold that thought actually, maybe it is terrible. While the KHA'ZIX is, okay, it's not god-awful. There's no ways to sugarcoat it. It's a piece of shit. It's not chocolate. The guy full clears, reverse clears all the way down here to take this, because we know that the MORDEKAISER is here. Now, play the scenarios through your mind if you're the KHA'ZIX, right? For some reason, whatever reason, maybe we're late to the blue, maybe we're just slow, maybe we're just having a bad day. 335 full clear. You recognize, look, this is probably gone. MORDEKAISER should be on this. Therefore, I'm going to cut down and take this. To what end? What will you do afterwards? Is bot lane gankable or are they back in base? They're back in base? Okay, so you can't gank this. Can you counter jungle? No, because if the MORDEKAISER takes this and resets, right? You're a little bit in a rough situation if the Samira and the Fiddlesticks rotate over. Can you fall back to your Grump? No, because it isn't spawned yet, right? It's not 4 minutes 23-ish and 4 minutes 20. So you're gonna reverse clear down, snack this, and then waddle around like a duck. So what he does is effectively say, look, let me take this, okay, and then go to the mid lane. But again, like you're looking at someone 4 minutes 20, so now the Grump is spawning, and this is definitely a good flex based upon where he is, right? Mechanically, not so good. The Katarina, not so good. Like, this doesn't really matter, right? Because a mechanical execution on a good decision, if it's a bad mechanical execution, it doesn't change the fact that it was a good decision. The problem is, if you're going to full clear, and this is the biggest thing I can tell you as a Platinum jungler, as we see in Telegraph where he's going next, so we know he's going to be going down here. Please just say, look, it's gone, reset. get a couple long swords, go straight down to this, and now, because you bought yourself extra time and itemization, can we do something here? Can we do something here right afterwards? And if not, you can always fall back to Grump, Wolves, cut in, or carry on. It gives you a bit more strategic diversity. Whereas now, the guys basically said, look, I've cut all the way across, wasted all this time, no itemization spike, I go mid lane, we don't play perfectly, but the Pantheon gets out, cool. And now I'm forced to go back into this quadrant for fear of, well, I need to do something to be active. In the meantime, the Fiddlesticks has used a bit of pride to move up with the Mordekaiser. I don't know. I mean, obviously this is a good shove to try and help the reset on the Pantheon, but again, like, this is all distorted and insane to me. But it is what it is. Mordekaiser now is going to go down here into the Raptors. Like, I would just... I don't like cutting my clear after one camp, because now you're forced to go back down to this. You know, if you spend a lot of time, you get the gank, you get the shove, you get the counter jungle, we go top lane, then it's fine leaving this camp up, because by the time you've done all those good things, all of this is up again, right? So that's fine. But when you're investing badly, then you're kind of just distorting your full sequencing. And I much prefer, look, let me finish the Raptors. I can shadow this if he's in a rough situation rather than just walk up and kind of do this, you know what I mean? So it's better to do this and react quickly than kind of try something against the Katarina. Like, your E is not going to hit against the Katarina with flash up and a blink, right? It just doesn't make sense. The KHA'ZIX in the meantime, most likely at this point, will reset after this. And now, if he's silver, probably go straight to dragon at bottom side because he, why not? If he's platinum and diamond bound, maybe he's like, okay, look, I should probably go to these camps. And then of course I can cut in, maybe do something to the Pantheon now that he has no subs. And then I can cut down, I'll have this whole blue side up, plus this, plus this, plus this, plus this invade, all nicely set up for him. Shall we find out where he goes? Let's see, because again, we don't know this is Mordekaiser. We're just full sequencing up. We compromise our sequence, which means we compromise our SIGs. We could be base going straight back here already. The Yorick is juiced, 2-0-0. He won his lane. Let him cook. Keep the KHA'ZIX away from top lane. Deny the KHA'ZIX Herald. Deny the KHA'ZIX Dragon. Then the KHA'ZIX is topside. Hey! Bravo! He did it. He recognized that he's got tier. I mean, look, it sounds like I'm being a bit condescending, but I think we all know that in silver, it's very likely that they go straight to the dragon just because the obsession. And most people don't understand how to optimize the sequencing. Now, the Mordekaiser should damn well know that the KHA'ZIX had not based when he went mid lane and he telegraphed going to his Grump Wolves, which means we know that he definitely at least did Grump or Wolves or both, and then most likely reset. So either way, he should be on the top side. So we go top lane here to try and get a kill on the Scion, who has no summoner spells, and this is a nice little gang. Now, KHA'ZIX could shadow up, or as he should be doing, just go straight down to the Raptors. But we also know, there he is, he's on the Raptors, okay, good. Can he cut in here from his perspective and gank the Pantheon? Yes. Will he? No. Why? Because we know the Mordekaiser is going down. The Mordekaiser, though, no, my son. Oh, I mean, look, no. He was doing so well, he just had to go back to base and spend his cash money gold and then come here and drive by this for level 6, or just go and take this with level 6. The time waste. And this is where you lose control. This is it. This is where you straight up damn well always lose your control on Platinum. Right here. That level of tempo loss just because we weren't thinking about the KHA'ZIX. We saw him show up here with 28. We know he got leashed on the blue. So we know the guy full sequenced up, reverse cleared down, and then cut mid lane. That isn't difficult. In Platinum, you should know this. And again, in the course, we cover how to do this, but I also tell you guys, look, at this point, you must know this. If you don't, this is how you learn it, but this is the foundation of how you get diamond. If you can't do this kind of tracking, you're going to struggle unless you're a mechanical god. And as we all know, in diamond, there are a substantial amount of people who can't do this tracking, but there are mechanical gods on their champion, or just abuse certain things. Now we have here the KHA'ZIX show up and go down. Right, extrapolate. Is he going to go back to base, or is he going to do at least Grump Wolves and probably reset? Could he also just stay out and do a full second rotation? Yes. All of those are possibilities. But I do know that these camps will spawn afterwards, so I know that once I show up top lane here, it's highly unlikely by that stage in the game that he hasn't cleared them, no matter what he was doing, right? Now the Mordekaiser, with another 1,000 pocket, we should have just reset. Now we're down here doing something about this potentially. Like we do the Krugs or do the red. I mean, you could do the red. I prefer Krugs if it's a drive-by because I can get 6 quickly and get here without investing too much time such that I miss the opportunity. Does that make sense? Like the red is obviously more valuable and then we can cut down, definitely. But if you see this as like something you really can do, but you want that ultimate juice, then quickly take a baby Krug, especially when you're so damn close, right? Take a baby Krug and its babies and just try and get that level 6 as fast as you can, and then run down here. Nothing else really matters. And then you use your 6, you get the kills, you snowball, you shove, you get the dragon, right? That's one principle. But what you don't want to do is path all the way down or around loop-de-loop. And just for context, we see the KHA'ZIX here doing the Scuttle Crab, and it's just like a very late reaction, right? This was on the map, we see it. The KHA'ZIX now has wards here for the Mordekaiser. Now the KHA'ZIX hits 6 before the Mordekaiser with 53 CS. And as the Mordekaiser, this should offend you. Like, how is he able to do this? And then you realize, oh, he just cleared his jungle. Just cleared his jungle, did a gank, didn't pay off, got a Scuttle Crab. That's the Mordekaiser's game plan, and the Mordekaiser failed at it. Now the Yorick is just going to keep, I think, abusing the sign, which is absolutely perfect for us. This guy falls back to this, and to this, most likely. We're pinging off this. The bottom lane goes back to base, so this is where you could sneak this, right? If you watch this right here, you see them detach and pull off. You know that this was taken. Ideally, we have this available. I would always make sure that this is kept up so that I can use it for the dragon. I mean, this is when you go and do the dragon, right? Because they're resetting. You can easily get a shove here. KHA'ZIX can test by himself. This guy, unfortunately, gets chunked. Ad hoc, right? Make the audible as necessary. If you need to pull off. But this is a good time to do this dragon because their bot lane resets. We have numbers advantage. We have Pantheon ult if necessary. Now the KHA'ZIX does his grob and then walks into the Mordekaiser's jungle. So the KHA'ZIX ain't tracking the Mord, and the Mord ain't tracking the KHA'ZIX, and we're all just basically going about the whims of our feelings. And now the Mordekaiser's like, well, I better keep farming. The KHA'ZIX is like, well, I better keep ganking because this is what's going to give me the juice. Now we're going to have to okay, let's crack with a flash hookery. That's why you don't play Fiddlestick support, because it's absolutely pith useless. 0-3-0, an offense to my senses, I think, and to all your senses. However, if you've missed set opportunities to potentially do dragons, and you are like, look, I don't really want to do it, nice ward, and we sequence upside, and we see the KHA'ZIX down bottom side, this is the good play. Yes, we want to make sure we snack this stuff up. Yorick throws his lead, which is obviously not what you want to do, right? If you have this kind of lead as a top laner, please don't die solo or greed. Just don't, as best you can. That's all I can say here. Now this guy goes and does a dragon. We can anticipate this is what he's doing, which means we snack this and we see the Scion. Now the Scion's going to go proxy, okay? But I've got a super fed Yorick. My Yorick can Bing Shill, Scion can Bing Shill. What allows me to stay ahead of the KHA'ZIX here and costs him some real strong experience? Oh, take all, okay? And then just let this guy do his thing. Who cares? Who cares? Because KHA'ZIX isn't in the picture. We can go and deal with this whenever the hell we want. If we show up now, we're losing the opportunity to take this because we saw the KHA'ZIX go up here after his investment in the bot lane. This now is a 1-2-3 camp denial phase, and we missed it. We missed it. Now you could say, look, if I'm doing this, I can easily go ahead and take all of this and then this, but if the KHA'ZIX dies and resets and this fiddlesticks, you know, then we might not get the Herald for it. So I kind of like just making sure we get the early Herald here. We can flex into at least 2 camp counter jungling. The Scion obviously is just going to keep doing this. That's fine. You know, that's absolutely fine because look, he's just like, oh, I'm fine too. So what we can do after we've done this is if you really want with Pantheon maybe to ult and just kill this guy, then you can drop the Herald and let them go to work. But ideally, you don't have to rush it at all. I don't know why we're going level 7 versus level 9 against the Scion either. How strong do you think you are, sir? Why? Why? Just let him chill. He will have, he's maidenless right now, but he won't be maidenless forever. He's got ghouls to tank tower shots. He can still get plates. The Scion can't do shit, you know? And then now the KHA'ZIX is gonna reset 99.99%, go topside here, see the Scion and collapse and kill the Yorick. Okay, that's a possibility. You could also just go straight down to the bottom side again, but I'm not willing to place that bet. Again, it's a 50-50 at this stage, depending on who you're facing. But take this, vacuum this. If you want to collapse and do this with the Yorick, go for it. But if the Yorick's like, just leave me alone, it's fine. Don't really care. Do your blue side. Okay, the Yorick now will have to pay attention to the KHA'ZIX, or of course we can countergank the KHA'ZIX should the KHA'ZIX try to go here, but the Scion's here, so what's the KHA'ZIX gonna do? Exactly. Just let them cook sometimes, and this is very costly. KHA'ZIX now, let's see where he does go, obviously. Taking a long time, actually. I thought he was a little bit further ahead than where he was. Now he's just going to go to his red side as expected. Now we're forced to go to the blue and down to the wolves, which we could have done in the first place. And then we could have looped back here and done something here should the KHA'ZIX gank. You know, let the top laners go. We just give him a free kill for no reason. I mean, he's level 9. Why would you even take that fight? Blitzcrank is now roaming to the mid lane. We've lost all pressure everywhere. Oh, if we activate the Herald, unfortunately. The Blitzcrank goes in here. Katarina goes in. We do hit the hook this time. We bonk into Brazil. And we'll just keep going with that one. KHA'ZIX is going to go on the Pantheon in the meantime. Mordekaiser's like, I got this, homies. Whoa. There we go. A little bit of an auto. Pantheon kills the KHA'ZIX as well. We're going to get to shove here now. Bottom lane. Push, 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 push. Bottom lane. Push. Please. Guys, go. Oh, it's a Fiddlesticks and a Samira. But there's no agency. You know what I mean? There's no agency. Like, you've lost 5 plates. All right. They've gone to the mid lane already. Push. You've got a dead Katarina, a dead KHA'ZIX, no pressure in your life. Go. And if you're the Fiddle Shadow, like, you let the Samir do it herself. You know, if I'm here as Zyra, I'll stay just because I know that someone will rotate over and we can just 2v1 them, and that's like crucial. Shutdowns are gold for the ADC, right? But now, of course, we know that when this guy goes red, Raptor shows up here, okay? He has his red. I know he was probably there doing some, at least one other camp. He's gonna go down to the bottom side. So why are you now overstaying on that reset? So bottom lane is obviously, you're definitely to blame for this kind of stuff, but the jungle has control, right? Because they're gonna do this no matter what. We've just missed the opportunity with this death to the Scion to really push pressure elsewhere. And now AD Scion is beginning to do some damage, and now we're going up. See, this is what I was saying in the Bad Habits. The Bad Habits video on the main channel, this is exactly what I was saying to you guys. He does this into this, does a stupid ass thing. Now he does blue wolves down, and now he's got one camp sitting up on the respawn, right? They killed each other. Now he's got one camp sitting on the respawn, so sequencing is also is all distorted. But nothing else. Compromised by his own bad habit. And that's the kind of stuff as a farming jungler you just don't want to deal with. You know what I mean? You just don't want to deal with. Silly. Silly, silly, silly. Now again, we go venturing for some random counter jungling. Like we have the timer on the wolves too. Like, he bonked the wolves and you're like, yeah, he had the timer. He's the one who took them. So when your sequencing is distorted, your CS PM goes down because there's less CS to do PM. And now KHA'ZIX shows up here, and the bottom lane is a huge lead. We didn't impact bottom lane, KHA'ZIX did. We didn't impact top lane. I mean, a little bit, but we could have gone over the top. I mean, at least we're farming. Proactivity, my friends, it does a lot. We're just in a negative game state the whole time. And honestly, the KHA'ZIX, despite the missed, you know, strategic... Hold on. Okay, can we get out? Okay, good. I'm okay with that. I like that kind of thievery. Aha! Force streak. Bye-bye. You're just kind of forcing them to react to you. You get the scuttle crab anyway. You say goodbye and you leave. That's good. Now, oh no. No! No, 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 no. No. Do not go Riftmaker, please. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. You want to be able to survive and thrive and suck and be this unkillable beast, then just do your Jack Show stuff with your demonics and your Rylas and things like this. Don't go Riftmaker. It's too squishy. You're gonna get blown up, and you're gonna feel like a god if you're ahead, but if you're behind, you're gonna feel like a piece of paper being burnt by the biggest match in the world. Yorick's able to finally take this one, but yeah. So the KHA'ZIX does a good job. The KHA'ZIX, look, block it, block it. The KHA'ZIX does a good job of, you know, getting this bottom lane ahead, shadowing scenarios where he needs to be present to get kills. And I think there's a lot to be said for this. Like, we're looking at these fights, right? And KHA'ZIX is there. We look at this, KHA'ZIX is there. We look at this, KHA'ZIX is there. He's in places. Now, is the build necessarily something that I would want anyone other than a Gurren to do? No. But he now can get in, meddle, heal, thrive, conquer stacking. He is something that is not necessarily going to be blown up inherently. And from this, we're able to take a second dragon, and the Mordekaiser's team is able to get this second herald, which is fine, I suppose. And now just to talk about the builds again, because obviously now you're going to be like, but 3 items, Riftmaker, Jack Show, 3 item spikes, there's a 1% difference, yes. But it's more about the elo you're playing in, right? If you're Diamond Plus and you need to start smurfing and carrying a bit more, a bit harder, then yes, it makes sense. But in Diamond, in Platinum, you still have that fusion of hey, you still need to survive and thrive in fights. And if you're not getting the leads necessary, you're not really going to have that same carry potential anyway. You know what I mean? That's the reason for it. If you're like smurfing a Mordekaiser, sure, do whatever the hell you want. But if you're very clearly a platinum jungler, and we're what? 6.2k gold at 17 minutes? We're only 400 gold ahead of a KHA'ZIX? And our sequencing, you know, we're up a little bit now, obviously, but, you know, we don't really have that ability to 1v9 with that build. That's usually just the philosophy. So the equivalency I would give you is, hey, you play Diana, just do Hank Diana things until you get to Diamond, and then when you're in Diamond Plus, I need to go ahead and 1v9 and carry with a bit more mechanics, a bit more damage, a bit more take over games, then you can go the Rocket Belt, Protobelt build. Protobelt, original name. We are able to kill the KHA'ZIX, now we get hooked. You see, this is what I'm saying. Like, if you're a frontline Jackshaw beast here, you still get the kills, and you're able to kind of buy enough time for your Yorick and Fiddle to show up. You're able to buy enough time for your carries to show up. You can sit there and control fights a lot better. It's a Jarvan thing, right? It's a Jarvan thing. Why do we not go Dustblade of Drakthar on Jarvan? We can one-shot, but we get exploded. If you just go drink a Black Cleaver, Eclipse Black Cleaver, things like this, you can survive, thrive, control the fights. So the Pantheon is able to get this turret. We're able to move up here as Yorick to take this Grump. Krugs, excuse me, Katarina's like, I can kill you. He's like, no, Ghoul Supreme, Ghoul Supremacy. Mordekaiser respawns, but he's just not in the game. 14 kills, 1-2-2. This is the tendency of Platinum. This is most average junglers in Platinum. Even the KHA'ZIX is 8 kills out of 18. Low KP with the wrong strategies, with the wrong activities, with the wrong triggers, with mistakes. And it costs you. You just get more fed than you would have in gold and silver. Pantheons are roaming a little bit as well. 3-2-1, level 11. Like, we're okay in levels. Pantheon, Sion, Mordekaiser, level 13, level 12, level 11, bonk. Slow, double Q. There we go. We're just waiting for the kill because he's all AD, so you can kill him. There we go. So bottom lane gets caught out a little bit, and we activate the Herald anyway. That's a little off. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily push it in this sense because obviously they're going to rotate to us once the bottom lane dies. Or we can chunk and escape. We'll get double charge. Okay, so we can live with that. Obviously, they're going to push mid on the other side. Pantheon's going to split this top lane a little bit. Our bot lane respawns again. 0, 14, and 1. And you know what? Sure, you might look at that and be like, it's uncarryable. But you notice how I'm only talking about what we can do. Because if what we do is perfect, then you can carry this. You can. It is possible in Platinum to carry this. It's just that you got to either help them out a little bit or get mid and top so far ahead that you can deal with the bottom lane. And then by extension, your bottom lane will get fed from those fights and those skirmishes. A few kills here, a few shutdowns there. You understand? And because we don't do that, we're 2, 3, and 2. Like, I know they're inting, but if you're 2, 3, and 2 with 4 out of 16 KP, I don't think you have a right to complain. It's not like you're doing anything otherwise. Hit the microphone. The bottom lane are doing nothing and feeding, and you're not feeding, but you're still doing nothing. And you kind of compromise top lane a little bit. Okay, the Yorick kills a Sion, which is great. We have the Pantheon who does have ultimate. I'm not a fan of coin flipping these dragons at all. But we do have Fiddlesticks. We do have numbers advantage. If Fiddle goes over the wall, we've lost the HP on the dragon. Mordekaiser goes in, Pantheon ults in. The Yorick TP is huge here. We zone out the back line. Really good ult by the Pantheon. Really good TP by the Yorick. The Katarina is now out of position. She's going to hit the plant. We're going to rake and bonk. Nicely done. Yorick's TP there helps us a lot. Huge. Huge TP. Again, just focus on yourself. This is winnable. I don't think I'm concerned about this stuff. If I'm the Mord and I have 20 kills or 10 kills and my bot line's inting, I don't really care, right? Why have we lost all HP and everything? Oh, there we go. Okay, KHA'ZIX shows up now. Yorick can basically say, look, that was a good team fight, but now I no longer have TP, which means the red team can say, hey, let's just go Baron. The Mordekaiser doesn't reset. We're sitting with 1,200 cash money. Pantheon still has 1,200 cash money. Their whole team is spent. We haven't. We're going to go here. We can kill the Sion fine. Now, let's see what happens. I'm kind of curious. The split push here is strong. But that's the one thing you don't want to do. That's the one thing you don't want to do is be out of position. But again, like, we're just watching. Can we do something? Nope, no push, no threat. Could match with this. Don't have to do the Baron. Like, you don't have to dance around the Baron. Push this, match this pressure to a degree. If they send people back, you can hit more turrets. You don't have to always go for the Baron. Sure, you could go straight forward even when Yorick's 1v1, but we don't win the 4v4, so it's more risky. But we're just standing and waiting. We're just standing and waiting. We're out of position, we're standing and waiting. Pantheon ults in. There's just no sense of macro. Like, I don't really care if we win these fights and these picks because there's no purpose to it, right? There's no purpose to it. It's just stand around and wait for someone to do something and then play off of it. There's no proactivity. There's no macro concept. And, like, look at this. Yeah. See, now it's looking like the Rift Maker's like, ha, look, a godly Rift Maker. It is helping him here, but I still think, like, by default, right? So if you can play with it, go ahead. It's got the same win rate overall, but hopefully you understand my perspective. We're just going to solo start this up now, fascinatingly. He doesn't seem to understand that he can't solo that. He's not Belveth or something like this, and now he's low. Let's have a look to see what happens. I don't think there's too much interesting stuff in terms of macro. I think they just keep, yeah. Like the Yorick now has this this bot inhib down, which is great. The last thing you want to do here as a Yorick though is be super out of position. You just want to help your team a little bit now. Ghouls kill. We're strong. Just be careful, don't die. As Yorick, you just cannot be in this position when you're too separated from your team. You cannot be here. You cannot be here while your team is dealing with a Scion. Just help your team deal with the Scion, then push up together. Together with the Yorick, you win everything. But if you're going to go 4v1 and die, you're losing that advantage, right? So if you're ever the 1v9 carry in these games, and you do what the Yorick just did, that's why you lose. Now, it's not your fault, your bot's inting and no one else is doing anything. I fully understand that. So it's not a case where it's like, hey, you should win this game, but you should at least realize, look, I could win this game. Right. There's at least a dragon available. Instead, we go fighting a Blitzcrank. And now we finish up the dragon. Yorick now respawns. And we do the Baron now. Okay. We get the Baron. They hook the Yorick over the wall. Our team needs to follow up. What's the Mordekaiser gonna do? Let's have a look. KHA'ZIX is slippery. KHA'ZIX is tanky. KHA'ZIX is fightery. Just keep the Baron here. That's all you need. That's all you need. You've got the bot in him down as well. There you go. Portion. Yeah. You're watching what I'm watching, my friends. You're watching what I'm watching. They see low HP, gold reset necessary, and Pantheon goes back to base. Yorick goes back to base. Fiddlesticks ults in. The Mordekaiser, for some reason, is still in this fight. I'm losing my voice because I cannot believe what I'm witnessing. This is not good. If you're the Mordekaiser here, guys, just don't. The idea is to pull it and pull out here. Yorick gets hooked, save him, pull out and just run straight, get back to base, reset, spend your gold, and hold. Next, look for a good fight that you can actually use. Instead, we all get picked off one by one. Yorick's left alone by himself. They'll get a tower for this. The TP in. Don't die, don't die, don't die. Hold the Baron. There we go. All right. Now we go to the top side. Dump this out. We lose a blue. Mordekaiser's like, okay, here we go. I'm going to farm some camps. It's really, there's no real cohesion, which is why I'm kind of just sprinting through it now, because a lot of Platinum games evolve into this, and it doesn't really matter. Like, he's over splitting again. Like, this is an over split. Your team's not in position. They're all dead, right? They're all dead. And now what happens is this just goes on repeat. Overcommit, die. Rest of the team overcommits, dies. Red team just swoops side to side. Exactly this. It happens on repeat. It happens on repeat. Very, very common. Yeah. Don't think there's much else other than the same happening. I know we kind of like to go through this step by step, but I think in this case, it's really not that interesting. KHA'ZIX goes in here. We jump forward a little bit. They've got 3 dragons now. We have 2. But you're seeing, even though the Mord has kind of got this KD up a little bit, they just don't have the togetherness. And obviously the bot lane are the reason we're losing this game. There's no question whatsoever. But I always like to think of it like, what could we have done that would have allowed me to maybe carry this game? And I think it's the best thing to have, because most likely you lose this game anyway. But if you can play this game properly, and your bottom lane is like, I don't know, half the deaths, and a bit more useful, then you'll win every game that you play. So, unfortunately, one of the 20% games, I think, where we just straight up lose. However, I think we can all agree that had the Mord played a little bit differently, and the Yorick played a little bit differently, those two could have 2v8'd this game. I think we can all agree on that. But obviously, it requires a lot of discipline and willpower. The Mordekaiser just didn't. The KHA'ZIX did a solid job, 21 assists. You know, at least he's present, but the Mordekaiser just wasn't involved enough at all early to mid to help lanes. And the thing is, if this happens to you all the time again, it's because you're not helping lanes enough. And the lanes are feeding because they're bad, and they're going to keep feeding because they're bad. But if you shut up 2-3 times and maybe swung it in the other direction, maybe they would be serviceable. You know what I mean? So a lot of concepts in this video, a lot of bit of nonsense as well, but hopefully a good indication as to a lot of the early game, mid game strategies necessary to kind of navigate a bit better at Platinum. Late game, there was a bit of a fiesta. So thank you very much for watching, and as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.